Welcome to the Ron and John Show, brought to you by Veterans Lending Group, and I'm Ron.
And I am John. This is the Ron and John Show. Hey, at the Ron and John Show, we're known coast to coast like butter and toast. We can make ISIS surrender a guy or make even the nerdiest guy look kind of fly. We can drink like we've been singing all night long, and we can sing like we've been drinking all night long. So if you're looking for a good time, don't you delay. Tune into the Ron and John Show. Me and this Ranger, we lead the way. Boom! Boom!
Boom!
What's up, brother?
Oh man, it's all up, brother. Everything's blue skies and in safe jump conditions.
Yeah, where the hell are you at, man?
I am in the Caribbean on an island called Curacao. It's one of the ABC islands down here, and just beautiful weather. Been coming back and forth here for a couple of years and trying to find a little spot where I can open up a taco shop, man, a little Blaxican grill or something, you know?
Well, hey, I'm in a hotel room here. I am back in the 563, man. Davenport, Iowa is in the house, and I'm back home seeing my family, seeing my friends, and the little windmill and I are back here chilling out a little bit, man. But it's been a busy month, brother. You know, we've been doing a lot of things, and we had a phenomenal show last time with the United States Army Recruiting Command Commander and Sergeant Major on the show. It was just phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely. And just to see, the direction of where they're going, how things have evolved. And also, what others can do to get after, that mission of sharing our story of, continue to grow this volunteer force. But yeah, and with that is we also, we rolled off of meeting up there with the 82nd. I mean, reverse planning right here.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, it was good, man. With the 2nd SFAB and the 82nd, great unit visit, a lot of education. We try to keep this show light all the time. And I will tell you today, brother, I don't know if we could get any more lighter with the guests that we have on today, man. You and I both served at the tactical level, and we know what it's like down there in a cohesive unit, the kind of trash talk that will happen, the kind of back and forth, the kind of shenanigans that, build kind of the trust at the unit level, but also those shared hardships that, we go through at that level that continue to build that trust that allow us to have these lighter moments of talking smack to each other. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. It's that, it's something that never leaves. It's a language that will, stand the test of time, regardless of generation. When you think about it, I mean, we're always talking shit, to one another. There'll be another branch, squad level, platoon level, company level. But I think that's what also keeps it alive. That tight, because it's kind of like somebody can talk about this person. Nobody can talk about this person but us.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it can get vicious.
Yeah. And especially in the world we live in today, that has a sense of hypersensitivity in it. I think everybody needs to have a dang drink of beer, and calm down a little bit and remember that the military is all about relationships and friendships and trash talking as a way of life. So, brother, we got the experts on today.
Yes.
3 of the 4 dudes that make up the team of Veteran Trash Talk. And, well, let's just bring them on out here, man.
Let's see if they're still going at it from before the show. There they.
Wow, and they're all 3 quiet right now. That's
all
good.
Right. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Good to be here, gentlemen. Good to be here. Let's start this dumpster fire.
That's right. Let's get this dumpster fire going. First of all, let's introduce.
Never had a shared hardship with anybody. He's never even had a hardship. Everything is super easy. Just ask him.
Hey, Buddy's got a book coming out called Letters Written from Spiker. That's in it.
Right, Nick?
The fob life.
Fob it out.
How to get all those chogues that are out in the fields dip.
Yeah.
Well, hey, gents, welcome. Hey, I
Thanks
know
for having us.
we're missing Big Dave Trenton here, but having the three of you on here is awesome. And we're going to start with Nick. I want you to introduce yourself so the folks know who you are. And what the hell is that on your chest, man? What is a SEAC?
What's a SEAC?
I mean, does anybody really know? Because I mean, I spent about 14 years in the Army, and then I got sent on a broadening assignment, which derailed me to Nickel, which I love. It's the best unit ever. I got to say that because I'm still active duty. But no, it is a lot of great people there, especially the commandant's awesome. Teaches me a lot of good stuff. But no, I didn't know what a SEAC was until I got to Nickel. They were like, hey, the SEAC's coming, start squaring stuff away. I'm like, who the hell is that? So like,
hey,
so
you gotta broaden them horizons, man.
That's what I'm here for, to get broadened. It's like,
enlightenment.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Algonquin for the good land, and
Milwaukee.
Signed up a little late in the Army because I failed at other things before that, and the Army seemed pretty easy, and it has, it's been awesome, and I love it. And so I've been was in 82nd, met all these guys. Buddy was a staff sergeant when I was in E4, and I think I made
I'm a staff sergeant, so that's crazy.
Okay, yeah. And then I went to through SOPSI with Joe, and Dave was young E5. He's not on because USAREC is putting the hammer down on him because the Phoenix Battalion is not doing too well. But anyways, so he's working it. He's working hard. But started up the podcast with these guys. We'll get into that later. But just an airborne ranger by trade, and just like to get after it. So I appreciate you guys having us on the show, and I'll turn it over to the next guy.
All right, Joe, hit us, man.
Yeah, obviously I don't need to. There we go. Nick is famous for picking a scab. He loves to get after it. And he called me Triggered Joe Britson one day. And I thought, what better way to stick it right back to him than to start calling myself that. So it just kind of stuck. He tends to get me triggered from time to time. He actually had me one time get geared up in full kit because he said there was a bird landing on the radio, and it was a long walk, and it was about 120 degrees that day on Patrol Base Olson in Samarra, Iraq. And he let me get all the way over there before he told me that the bird wasn't even coming. He just was jerking my chain. So Nick tried to get me to fight him the best way he knew how when we were over there, and we ended up becoming good buddies over it. But I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. Don't feel bad for me. All right.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Well, I always tell Nick.
That's just Joe's way of telling you that he had to go to Iraq to get a break from combat.
Yeah.
Touche. Give Buddy props on that one. But went through SOPSI, ended up in the same company as Nick. Cut my teeth in the 82nd and Charlie Company, second to the 505th.
Boom.
And Nick, Dave, and I all saw. I mean, I don't know what the definition of heavy is, but we saw combat enough to where we all came home with enemy marksmanship badges. And we lost some guys over there, and I'll be as serious as I can be. I wanted this angle, and Nick wanted this angle because there's 10 guys that didn't come home over there, and I firmly believe that one of them took a shot so I could be here. And paying it forward to the epidemic that's going on right now with soldier suicide, I feel is the best way we can honor those guys. And it also, I tell you, it kind of woke up the veteran in me. Nick and I weren't in as much of contact as we are now, and we just wanted to create a community. And it's spiraled into several other different avenues, but we'll get into that in the show. I'll pass it over to Buddy.
Yeah. So unlike Nick and Joe,
you're not educated.
I did. Well, first of all, I'm the reason I'm on the show is because I'm actually in touch with my feminine side. And
I was gonna say, did you come? Are you wearing a tap out shirt before you go any further?
Okay. First of all, we're on a show, so I wear
tuxedo t-shirt.
my tuxedo cut off, guys.
Did you wear that to the Leonard Skinner concert?
It's formal. Not a huge deal, but I haven't gone to a Skinner concert in years, boys. No, so I also grew up in the 80s, the illustrious 82nd Airborne, the division.
Center of the universe.
Center of the universe.
Back at Bragg. I was in the
Back at Bragg.
505. I taught the people that taught Charlie Company how to be a great company. And then I went to Korea for a year, did a tour in Korea, came back, and went to Bravo Company, well, HHC and then Bravo Company, and then went then downgraded, I guess, to 5th group, and now I'm just a lowly SF guy. But
not even
Nick,
not even a Bravo.
Yeah.
Like they
Not
don't
even
know how to
a-
touch weapons.
Yeah, I have to do math with my job, so it's weird. It's odd, to say the least. But
Math, or as they say in Alabama, what?
just give it a little bit extra. Get a little bit extra than what you think.
Now do what?
Yeah, you're listening to somebody from Detroit talk about math. Do you do anything other
Yeah,
than grams and kilos?
we
Like,
said-
is that like the only thing you guys
Hey,
do?
if you are you are a patriot, and we did help win World War II. I don't remember Alabama making tanks, planes, and guns coming out of the Ford factories. I'm just saying, you're welcome.
No,
just all the fighters
they did
came
was
out of
make hard ass dudes. Oh yeah, all they did was make hard ass dudes that went over and.
Nick was in a movie called Hard Ass Dudes.
Oh,
Yeah. We can't talk about that on the show.
Hey, not a huge deal. Not a huge deal, Joe, but I guess somebody had to stay back and build tanks while we were all fighting the war.
I don't know why you have to feel so validated by my reaction.
That hurts. That hurts a little. Didn't see it going that way, did you?
I wasn't.
At one point and said that they were going to start doing this podcast, and they wanted to address soldier suicide and give veterans a place to talk about their businesses and go over holistic health and kind of talk about an overall approach to the veteran community and like wellness and health for in a holistic approach to health once you get out of the military and even if you're still in. And I said, all right,
Yeah.
and here we are, 40 some odd episodes later.
50.
That's
Oh,
50.
fantastic.
I'm just talking about the ones. I'll talk about the ones that I was there for, and then I don't count the ones that Joe missed. And what's that? Now we're at 30, I guess. If we do the ones that Joe hasn't been on.
I tell you, John, we can actually count on no hands and no fingers the amount of times Buddy's actually been in a house sitting down doing the show. 0 times has it ever happened. This is the 3rd time he's ever not been mobile, but I digress. Buddy made a great point about the holistic side. You know, with Nick's guys in Ventura with muscle activation therapy and the kind of stuff that we're trying to provide for these veterans, it's sustainable.
Yeah.
It's sustainable without pills. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
It's something if they can find that in themselves and actually put the work in and take the steps that we put in front of them. And we tell them, you know, we're going to hold you accountable to it. We'll show you the way, but you got to do the work too. Otherwise we're shouting at the rain. But the approach that we have is a sustainable approach to something that if you buy into, you can keep doing and it can work throughout a lifetime.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you had mentioned that, when you all had started the show that y'all hadn't really hung out in a while, and I had just actually just today counseled a E7 that's transitioning now from the 82nd. It's the one we were hooked us up with there, brother. And I was sharing with him the importance of staying connected to the community. In this particular situation, it's a med board, but in those situations, you don't always, it's not your time, right? But the thing is that could you just discuss that when you plug back in? Because John and I share this all the time. Is when I plug back into the community, my life literally changed. What can we do to share with transitioning service members now to stay connected so that they can, continue that brotherhood or that sisterhood, that sense of family?
That's a great question. And the way that I would, first of all, to any,
Speaking of a big word.
to any transitioning veteran who's going through the process of getting out, and I'll quote our IT guy and the man behind the curtain, Perry Houchins. He said, in those moments when they know that you're actually transitioning out, it's like the being forgotten, and not to bring feelings into it, but the being forgotten part starts right then. Like they're moving on, coming from the deuce, they're deploying.
Right.
If you're not going their way, that it's the separation starts there. So guys feel like the only veterans that I knew and trusted are off doing their thing, and they don't realize that there's a community of them out there, and you don't necessarily have to act like you left the service. There's somebody that's a rank ahead of you in the game of life and being out there as a civilian. And, that's kind of why we wanted to start what we started. So people knew that. People knew that they're like, hey, come to this page, put your problem out there, and the page comes to life.
Yeah.
And the best piece of advice I could give is don't lose touch of that. Just because they're going one way and you're going another, stay in touch with the veteran community. I always say this, and it sounds morbid, but it's the truth. No one's ever killed themselves in a room full of veterans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ever. This stuff always happens when these guys are isolated. They have idle time. They're out there up against the power curve because most of society doesn't understand what you went through. So you don't bitch and moan about it. You just tune out. You choose not to be a part of that community at first because you don't trust them. Like, I'm not really going to get into it with you because, you're already looking at me like, if I say this, or if you hear a boom, will you jump? And it's like, well, for Christ's sake, if a fucking grenade goes off, excuse me, am I allowed to say that? If a grenade goes off in the office next door, are you going to jump? Greg? From my team? Like, I mean, what the, like, come on, man. No, I already feel like a freaking alien because of it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm going to jump. Hi, a lot. I hope I don't have a heart attack. Next question. Does that make me nuts? So you automatically kind of get that, like, you're already being looked at a little different. And you don't really form relationships and bonds with people that you don't really necessarily, they got to give something back. Like every day of my life as Nick's friend's been a fucking competition every single day. And there's days where I want to punch him in the neck, but I'll take the pros over the cons with him because he's always challenged me, always. And only veterans do that for each other and hold each other accountable. Go ahead, buddy.
Jesus, I just wanted to ask you a question since you had gotten out.
Okay.
Don't you find that so we're screwed up because we joined the Army, we went through all that stuff, and then like the way that we make friends and gain trust of other people is that they prove that they'll jump on a grenade for us, or they'll put down covering fire while we're moving, and we're going to put down covering fire. Like if you're a civilian, you can't compete with that. There's no situation that you're ever going to be put into where you're going to I'm going to trust you because there's not people lobbing grenades at me. You know what I mean?
Right. When you're comparing,
it's reality.
Right. When you're comparing, like, hey man, I rolled the extension cord out for you and plugged it into. Hey man, I just took that blast for you and my ass is full of shrapnel. You want to run that wand over it? That really happened, by the way. That's a true story, and Nick can vouch for it. We did have to wand some guy's rear end because it was going off. But it's like, Buddy's right, Lo. I mean, the stakes are higher. So iron sharpens iron, and there's not a whole lot of ways to recreate that. I know Nick's got something to say on it.
I always have something to say, but
that's why I know you have something to say.
Yeah, just being
patient. Hey, before you get into that, Nick, I got to ask, man, you got your dang ERB on the wall behind you there, brother. Please don't tell me that you have a driver's badge certificate up on the wall back there, man.
I'm actually a certified train driver in the United States Army. Not many people know that. So
Nick, do the sign language. Nick, do the sign language.
Yeah. This is we coupled the train, and then I need a plane out of it.
John, you're not born with instincts like that. Okay, you see that? That was
you gotta
incredible.
learn that.
That's Army training. That's Army training right there. You thought cutting.
If I want to slow the train down, it's this. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Slow it down.
Wow.
Yeah, no driver's badge, but I am certified at a 180-ton locomotive for the United States Army. No big deal.
Wow.
Hey, brother, I apologize that I did not recognize those credentials that you had earlier, man.
Correct.
Because that goes a long way for an infantryman.
Right.
To have that freaking locomotive.
I wait for Delta Force. I wait for Delta Force every night to call me and say, "Hey, you got to go to Halo school real quick because in 3 weeks you're jumping out. I need a train driver, who can shoot." And I'm like, I'm your guy. I'm your guy."
There you go, brother. There you go.
Hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joe wanted to do a podcast or like a sports talk show, and I kind of talked him out of it to where I was like, I don't want to run the veteran angle, just because everybody kind of does that, and
Yeah.
like let's just talk sports. And then when the COVID hit, they stopped all of our pain management, they stopped all of our behavioral health, everything like that, and I was like, I was starting to lose my shit at home, and I'm like, so I called Joe. And I was like, "Hey man, let's start it up, dude. Let's do it. I'm bored. We got to do something." I'm like, he's like, "But you don't want to do the veteran angle, but whatever." So obviously selfish reasons we started it. Okay. We started it to take care of ourselves. And, we just started talking to each other some more. And then, embracing the ambiguity, as the Book of Earl always says, is, embracing the journey, because the end state is what you're looking for, but how you get there always changes. So all of a sudden we started realizing a following, and it was like, well, shit, maybe we can use this to promote veteran-owned businesses. Maybe we can use this to get some guys on here and talk about war stories, and again, I always bring this problem up with the English language is a linear language, and there's always one reason why something happens, and it's in our healthcare system as well. So your shoulder hurts. What do? They x-ray your shoulder, they MRI your shoulder, and then they operate on your shoulder. And then 3 years later, you need another surgery on your shoulder. All right, because your body's an entire system. So the pain is in your shoulder, but it's probably coming from your left knee, right? That's where it's starting, and your body's compensating, and the pain's shooting out there. So it's the same thing with veteran suicide. Everybody, I can't stand that phrase when it's like, that's why soldiers kill themselves. No, that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah.
Right. There's an entire system. So we started up Veteran Trash Talk to give people a platform to get their demons out. And that's what our saying is, our vision is get the demons out so we can crush them together. And like Joe was saying, veterans are going to hold you accountable. And especially, when you get the grunts involved, it's like, we're going to see it through. All right. We're going to fight on to the objective. All right. And if I'm the last guy standing, I did my best. Right. And I tried to bring everybody with me. I did my best. The grunt's going to do that. So again, love the show. I love, it's my own therapy on Saturdays, and you've been on it twice, Sergeant Major. So it's like, it's a phenomenal thing to see that. Then we started a group on Facebook. We have a page in a group. We started a group. And when it got to 40,000, and Facebook shut us down, and so we started it up. We're putting on like a 500 an hour. We were going nuts.
Yeah, we went viral that night.
Yeah, it was amazing because we didn't allow any sexual posts, any political posts. We don't care any of that stuff. And whenever somebody got on there and said, "I'm having a bad day," right? It came to life. The page just blew up. And we had multiple people that their wives called us, message us, said, "Hey, you saved my husband's life the other night." I'm like, "We didn't save it. Right? We didn't do it. All right. The veterans did it." And that's the thing. Everybody thinks they have their angle. We're trying to get every angle. We're trying to get every expertise, every branch, everybody on the same page, so that when somebody says something, somebody's going to know how to fix it. There's going to be somebody that knows how to fix it. So that's kind of what we got going on. So that's pretty much the gist of it.
But it's a contact sport. We wanted all the numbers. And I tell you that was probably the biggest challenge from the get-go when we decided, like, let's go for broke and invite everybody. To have three guys from the 82nd, all grunts, reach out to, even female veterans. It took a while to build that diversity.
Well, Joe, we didn't even realize that was like an issue. And then because we're grunts, all of a sudden this female's like, "Hey, how do I get on this?" And we're like, "What, you want to talk on the show?" Like, okay. Yep. And then we can explain buddy, Buddy's only like, he was our unpaid intern. He's still unpaid, but he finally made the cut. So now he gets to come on every show. But sorry, Joe, go ahead. Hey, Buddy, you're muted.
No, it's exactly what you were saying, Star Major, about it's a relationships thing and it's a contact thing, and if we could put a trademark on it and make it our own, I mean, we would call it veteran on veteran therapy. It is literally the only way in my book on the darkest days for me to communicate with any of these guys. I can't do that with somebody else.
Yeah.
I just can't. And we've had veterans open up to us and say exactly what Nick said. We gave, and I'm not trying to rah-rah us. I'm just saying the lane it took us in, we've said, hey, this guy's struggling. He's got 2 little girls. It's Christmas. And, and a family adopted them off of our page. Like stuff like that goes unsaid that we do. Honestly, that's the biggest reward to me, is to hear the feedback from these people saying that we helped them. And it's like, man, it's the family that we created that's helping them.
Boom. Awesome.
It just happens without us saying so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. So speaking of that, speaking of, females, I was, cruising through the site and saw Throat Punch Mondays.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's our Air Force, Army, Navy, sister veteran podcast. It's made up of 3 very unique and diverse female veterans, and it's awesome. And they're actually just getting started, and I can't wait to see what they bring to the table.
So that's a fun story in itself. Again, embracing the ambiguity. So I saw the window to where the females were reaching out to us, and I'm like, shit, I didn't even think about that. And they started talking about MST. I didn't even know what that acronym meant, just like SEAC. I was like, what do you mean MST? Right? Yep. And I'm like, oh shit, that. I'm like, I don't really want to talk about that, but like, that's the stigma.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about it. So so we gave Leah, who's awesome. So we put her on the platform, and it was all her show, all her doing, right? All we did was freaking press publish, right? And she came on first as an interview with me. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. And she started telling me what happened to her in Korea. And you couldn't see the lower half of me, but I was like shaking. And I'm sitting here like, I want to kill the person she's talking about. Like I know that won't do her any good, but it's like these people exist in the Army?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even believe it, And so she was doing awesome, but she was getting a lot of flack for some of the stuff that was going on, and wasn't getting appreciated for the bravery that she was doing and bringing guests on and talking about this kind of stuff. And again, nobody wants to pay attention to it because it's hard.
It's not an easy story to listen to, and they don't want. Yep. Sorry, Nick.
And so, no, you're right, Joe. And like, it's something. Again, I don't want to listen to it. I really don't. But it's one of those things that if you want to fix it, you got to listen to it. You got to hear what these women are going through in the service. Whether it happens in an infantry unit or not doesn't matter, because I really never saw it. And Buddy always says it right. Like, we were always so scared to talk to women in an infantry unit. Like, we were on deployment and a girl came on the base. Don't even think about it. Like, it was like,
I tell you what, with Juan Perez as our first sergeant, if you even acted one step unprofessional when a female was around, he would hem your ass up. We didn't even think of it.
Right. And so it almost drove her to the breaking point, because she was getting so much hate mail for what she was doing, that it was like, I was like, hey, if you're not happy, I don't want you doing it. And I was like, but think about maybe putting a team together and, come back at it in numbers. And so she did that. She put an awesome team together. And you got a Navy vet, an Air Force vet, like Joe said, and they're going to do 2 shows a month, this Throat Punch Mondays. And they're going to come on and talk about some real shit. And they're also, they're also going to come on and talk about some good stuff. Like, everybody just thinks it's going to be like, horrendous things every time. But no, they're going to bring up female entrepreneurs, other successful stuff like that. And they have our full support. They can do whatever they want, and we're going to give them everything that we can. But yeah, that's the thing. We didn't realize the female veteran outcry that came our way. And again, that was just another perk that happened.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, so go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No,
brother.
I'm just saying we didn't even have contact with female veterans before we started showing. I personally didn't, and now we're in business with 3 phenomenal individuals. And man, I'm telling you, check these girls out, because tough as nails, diverse, and love every one of them. I really do. They're like family. They're awesome.
Awesome. Well, hey, here's a question I have, and buddy, I'm going to pose it to you, and then Nick and Joe, I'll ask you to chime in. So the atmosphere within the military right now, there is a certain sense of hypersensitivity right now, where some folks can, and I say this all the time, folks can find an insult in a bouquet of roses, or they see toxic leaders under their bed at night, or a slight inflection of a voice will say, oh, that's disrespect or something. You guys have perfected the art of, at the tactical level, what the strength of organizations that through shared hardships come together, and that's trash talking. And, my question to you guys is, and buddy, I'm going to start with you. Is there going to be a premium on trash talking at the unit level, at the squad and platoon level now, because of a certain sense of hypersensitivity that's going on in the world right now? Buddy, your thoughts? You're muted, brother.
Yeah.
He's not.
You might have to take the headphones off.
Sums up with your sound, buddy.
Yeah, just go crazy with it. Do SF stuff with your phone. No, we can't hear you.
No, crank your volume up.
See, this is what happens when you have special forces guys. You're gonna get knocked back down to intern, buddy. You don't pick this back up. So, anyways, if you want to hear Buddy talk on our YouTube channel, he has a video of how special forces use Tinder, and it is.
Or in 2 days, his mic will turn on.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. I think he's going to come back in.
All right, gents. Hey, you guys, your thoughts on that, man?
A great question. And we actually deal with it on the group quite frequently. And it sucks that we have to do it again because we restarted the group. But Facebook is so crazy with their algorithms that we got shut down because somebody said "Cheers, Devil Dogs" on the Marine Corps birthday. Right.
Oh,
so.
Man.
Like they just didn't understand
a power cycle. Yeah.
There you go. Go ahead, buddy. Buddy,
roll with it. Get it.
Anywho, I'll tell you that. So even in the SF world, we have a teams are teams. I think that there is a premium on trash talking, but I think now you have to. Everybody is so hypersensitive to everything. They wait and wait and wait before. Yeah, I mean, it eventually happens, but you have to build trust before you open your mouth. And I think that there are a lot of things that used to be like that were not beyond over the line, and now you have to figure out where the line is on whatever squad or team. And every time you add somebody to it, there's another. There's another obstacle to communications. I had a leader one time that told me that professional communications is just blunt. If you're going to talk to somebody, the point to communicating with them, especially in the Army or in the military, is to get the point across, not to talk in the most flowery, pretty. Like sometimes, hey motherfucker, move your ass over there is the most professional way to tell somebody to get up and move, or they're gonna get killed. You know what I mean?
Don't speak in memorandum is what you're saying. Exactly. Don't speak in memorandum. Yeah, just freaking lay it out, man.
Yeah, due to the high volume of fire, if you could please relocate to the other concealment area, I would appreciate it. Very respectfully, your squad leader. No, it's a thing. But like now, everybody is so hypersensitive because they watch, they're like, oh well, you can't assume. I joked around with a guy today because he described an E5 by his skin tone and his rank, and I was like, I can't believe you would assume his rank like that. Yeah, but that's legitimately where we are. Like, I know I'm a private, but I identify as a sergeant major. So if you could stand at parade rest when you talk to me, Sergeant, that'd be great.
That's
we've
all right.
also,
That was funny. I'm sorry. That was
Yeah.
funny.
Don't apologize. That's why he's on the show.
I'm saying I'm in the civilian world. We can get away with that shit. That was funny.
as leaders, we've given the keys to the city to like the privates and the specialists, and now you see E6s and E7s that will go out and like, they don't tell people what to do, how to do it. They don't give task conditions and standards. They would rather not deal with people. They'll go over and do it themselves, and then the job doesn't get done. People don't get trained. It leads to a breakdown in the entire system because we're not a Fortune 500 company. We're not making a profit. We're here to win the nation's wars. And here's the thing: your job is to either support killing folks or killing folks.
To fight and win, brother. To fight and win.
But we keep saying, well, we need to professionalize the force. You're a professional killer. What does that look like? If I'm a professional infantryman, I don't want to look at the guy that is clean and has a pressed uniform. If you're dirty and nasty, but your weapon's clean, that's my dude. That's the guy that I want to take to combat with me because he doesn't care about getting in the dirt. He doesn't care about sitting there for days on end, but his weapon is going to work because that's the thing that's important to him. But we're so worried about the way other people see us and the way other people hear us. Like at some point, we have to protect the way that we talk to each other, the culture of being able to tell Nick that he's stupid, or
and that's hard. That's hard to do.
Because you're so right all the time. Everybody.
Well, I do go to the Yale of the Southwest, so everybody knows
that is UTEP for everybody else that doesn't know.
Everybody doesn't understand that.
If you guys don't know that UTEP is the Yale of the Southwest, then lose my number.
I've read like 6 books. All right, so
everybody knows that.
I'm kind of a big deal. So Buddy just kind of showed the linear language of why like this is the problem, and he's not wrong at all. But there is a system that people lose track of when they want to get triggered. All right. And like we know our job is to win wars. We know that when we're in an infantry unit and we're in a force comm unit, we do know that like we could probably get away with a lot more shit here because our job's good. Like we got it. And we've already built a lot of trust with each other. But we run to it on the page and it's the same way on the group. To where it's like people are like, why do you call us trash talk if you delete these comments? It's like, well, because you were an asshole.
Yeah.
So we
trash talk does not give you the ability to offend an entire race or gender. There is a little bit of cleverness to trash talk because just being vulgar, it's not trash talk. And a lot of times when we delete comments and people bitch back, I say it's because you're not fucking funny. You're not original. Like there's nothing clever about what you said.
But Nick,
well, it's like Buddy said, you got to build the trust.
Right, and there's an art form to it. There really is.
Yeah.
No, buddy, you're not wrong. But there's again the Army system and the DoD system. All right, and like I get a little triggered when I see I know the Sergeant Major Army get mad at me. But like I get mad when I see people on Twitter that are higher ranking saying things about like social issues. Like getting triggered by Tucker Carlson. Like I never watched Tucker Carlson, and I almost did. I almost played that episode, but I still refused, right? Because screw that guy, right? But again, there's a recruiting game. There is the people who support the killers, all right? We need those people in the Army. And so we have to show the support for them. And although it may not, it's just like the women that I didn't understand what they were talking about is because I was ignorant about it. But I also need to know about it when I was killing people in Iraq and Afghanistan. I didn't need to know what their problems were, right? But now that I became, a leader in the Army, as far as like getting to the company level, all that kind of stuff, then the battalion level, it's like, I better pay attention to that stuff. I better see what's going on. And there's things that I got. The trash talk again. It doesn't give you the right to be an asshole. So if you're gonna say something stupid, I'm gonna hem you up. Absolutely. I always use this I always use this point that I said something in Afghanistan one time. I was a young E6 platoon sergeant, and I said something that was not politically correct, and my first sergeant turned around and he snapped like that at me, right? And I was like, what? Like, shit, like, what'd I do? And he was like, we'll talk later. I'm like, fuck, man, what did I say? And he goes in there, he's like, hey, look, man, you're good. He's like, but you're a leader now. He's like, you got people, once you say that, that's going to give the okay for the E5s, the E4s, and then the E3s to say stupid shit like that. He's like, yeah, it was funny.
Standard. Just change
Correct.
the standard. Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we should not be hypersensitive in the way Buddy is talking at all. Like, those people are the triggered pansies that we talk about on the trash talk. We have a shirt, quit being a triggered pansy. Everybody gets triggered. When you start being a pansy about it is when I got a problem. It's like, okay, dude, I got it. You didn't like it. Just keep scrolling, bro. Go somewhere else. And it's like, but no, there's a point in time where no, you're not building a team with that kind of shit. So
you're
like,
talking about two different things, Nick.
right. That's
You're
why I said there's a
talking about the
system of it.
difference You're talking about the difference between trash talking, which is only done with people that you kind of know and trust. Like you don't just you can't just walk into any room and be like, "What up, bitch?" You know what I mean? To some guy and not expect you know what I mean?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I got both guys having a good point here. Buddy's to his effect, that absolutely has a good point. But as you know, Nick, I think he touched on the entirety of the hypersensitivity and how, as a leader, even before you start the trash talk, to where, like how Buddy said, where you actually trust somebody and you can kind of bounce stuff off them that you wouldn't say to other people. When you're in a leadership position, you got to watch it 24/7. Who you say what in front of, because there's people who look up to you who are listening. So
absolutely. Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah. So y'all mentioned before that you're partnering with a couple nonprofits, obviously veteran businesses as well. So what, on the nonprofit side, what's going on there for Veteran Trash Talk? Who y'all supporting these days? Are you guys doing something yourself?
Well, we got a corrupt banker in Chicago that Joe knew from high school. So we figured if anybody was going to handle any type of money, it should be a corrupt guy from Chicago. And no, but he's a really good guy, awesome. And he's like, hey, you should check this place out. And he vetted it. So Stop Soldier Suicide. And they kind of screwed up with the name with Stop Soldier Suicide because we're worried about all veterans. But they allowed us to donate to just our fund that goes to the holistic healing of warriors that get in their program. So we are linked with Stop Soldier Suicide. And again, if you go to the Veteran Trash Talk Fund, you'll know that money is going to the holistic healing of warriors. It's not going, obviously they got to pay their administrative costs and all that kind of stuff. And then we also have some great sponsors. Like I said, he's an old 82nd guy that was in 2P with us, and he started Muscle Activation, the guys that made Bryson DeChambeau super big and hit the ball 400 yards.
He also does the greatest Christopher Walken I've ever heard.
Yeah.
His Christopher Walken is absolutely incredible.
It's real good, but he'll work on veterans for free. And then, it's life-changing stuff. Like I said on the story on my show is on our show that they told me I needed a knee replacement. I'd never run again. So, and they're like, well, it's time to get out. So, okay, cool. So I went to go see Jeff at Ventura Training and Athletics, and they after one session with him, 2 hours, I was running 6-minute miles again.
Wow.
And it was like, because again, they do the whole system approach. He didn't touch my knee. He didn't even touch it. All he did was make me really uncomfortable in my hip region and groin region and popped a bunch of muscles in there. And he's like, yeah, you're so tight and not releasing there that, like, boom, go run this. Now go try it. And I was like, thanks, brother, man. That was freaking awesome. And another veteran helping another veteran. That's, it's just these guys, they understand the troubles that we're going through and the struggles. But yeah, that's, and then again, promoting veteran-owned businesses. Every time we see this, like, hey, how much do you charge? We don't charge you anything. Nothing. Like, just like, come on the show and maybe if you sell one book, good for you. You sell 40, awesome. So that's what if that answers your question. We're here to help you guys live your life, not make money off you. So we don't charge them anything.
go get that money, and we'll promote you all day long.
Right. No, just to piggyback on that, it's, you know, as a community, you know, if we look at and take care of each other and keep, you know, I hate to say the term keep the dollars within the community, but support each other. And that's really what it is, right? Is that level of support.
Why not?
And like John and I always say is, you know, your network is your net worth. And there's so many people that know whether they've served, you know, 4 years, 8 or 38 years in the military. You know, you have a vast network, and we would rather support, you know, see that money go to a veteran business, right? That to help them out than someone else. And so I think there's also sometimes a little bit of a stigma for those that are transitioning out that I've kind of seen that they feel like they don't want to take advantage of their friends and, you know, and stuff. What would you say to that? Because, you know, that it's a real thing.
Joe, before you start that, we
Sure.
have an animal in its natural habitat. You see that Buddy is in his house.
Yeah.
In his house.
Oh my
talk about
God.
I don't want to talk about All right,
Yeah.
sorry, Joe. Go
right.
ahead.
You know, usually with my experience, the veterans I've seen when they first get out, they don't want to go after the benefit side. One,
Right.
and to be honest with you, the two correlate, because if you go to the VA in North Carolina, where I'm at, if you go to the VA and end up going to do a CMP, you go to Winston-Salem. I mean, by the time you went through all that stuff, you've come across about 400 veterans you've never met before. So just that alone lets you know, like, hey, man, that hospital had 2,000 veterans walking around in there. I'm not by myself. You know,
That's right.
And saying, you know, I had surgery on my knee does not say you're disabled, but go get that percentage, because when you're 60 years old and you got to have a knee replacement, they're not going to recognize it if you don't take care of it then. You got to take advantage of it when you get out, because the further away you get from it, the further away the VA pushes your file. And if you get too far away, some guys, it's almost impossible. You gotta take advantage of the benefits day one when you get out. Day one. Luckily for me, I had a Purple Heart, and I think Nick went through the same thing with military order of the Purple Heart. They filed my claim the day I got out of literally the day I cleared Bragg. I handed the paperwork off and got it started. But I know a lot of guys that separated and said, I'm going to strike out on my own. I got this. I'm good. And it's like, no, man, you still need to pretend like you're in the military, because if you lose that structure, if you lose the fact that, hey, you're a veteran, man, it's not over. Like, would you walk away from a freaking job where you gave pieces of flesh that you can't give back and watch people die? Would you walk away from that job without collecting your 401k?
Hey, let me give you some statistics.
Like, man, you earned that. You earned those benefits.
Yes, you earned it.
From the book the VA wrote. You didn't write the book.
Yes.
It's not
18
entitlement,
million.
it's the rules.
Yeah, 18 million veterans in the United States. Only 9 million are enrolled in the VA healthcare system. Only 6 million are actively using VA healthcare. So about a third of all veterans are using a benefit that they earned, as you just said, Joe. That's a problem that I have. And I'm like you, I'm trying to get after this. Every time I see a veteran, the first thing I ask them, are you enrolled in VA healthcare? Well, dude, it's a benefit.
That's the reaction every time, isn't it? They scoff at it. If they're not in it, they scoff at it.
Yeah. But they don't realize, like you said, 400 dudes just went through the same shit that they're going through. And the impact that it has as the therapy it is to be around those other veterans that are going through the same things that you are. As you said, no veteran has ever committed suicide in a room full of veterans. You know,
so
the
community is the answer to almost every question when it comes to adversity and getting out. Correct. It is stay in touch with the community, because we will take care of each other. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, the part of you that's a soldier, the part of you that's a Marine or an airman doesn't have to go away just because you left the active duty service. And furthermore, you should not let it go away because it's not healthy for you.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for you to try and just say goodbye to what you made yourself into.
Yeah.
You know, hold on to that, collect those benefits, stay in touch with the community, and you'd be surprised at how much better it feels and how much more your service is validated in your eyes.
Yeah.
Like there's guys that go ahead, Nick.
One of the things we see too, just like we see in the service, is again the guys that don't want to put in the effort, you know, and it's hard, and that's why when we decided to put our vision and our goals together, our goal isn't to end veteran suicide. I just think that's an unrealistic goal. Our goal is to, you know, help as many people as we can, and you know, lower the curve. And we accepted Ventura Training Athletics as a sponsor, one because they give us money, but two, they he talks about it on one of our shows that he comes on. He's like, we don't accept any veteran.
Yeah.
We accept a veteran that is committed to the process of finishing it. He's like, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of expertise going into it. Do you really want to get better?
Yeah.
He's like, we will help you for free if you want to get better. And it's the same shit we're trying to push on our group and on our page. It's like, we're here for you. But if you keep crying for help and you don't use the stuff that we've given you,
absolutely,
we don't write you off, but we're gonna keep telling you, hey, suck it up, dude. Like we gave it 20 numbers. There's 16 guys that have already said they'll help you. It's like, what else do you need? You know, and
I had a veteran. I'll tell. I won't use any names, and I won't betray anyone's trust. I'll be vague with the details, but this is a true story. I had a veteran that I was counseling. Substance abuse issues. Didn't have a whole lot of people around him. Was very hard to communicate with because he wasn't really speaking to me sober very often, and I slowly kind of nursed him through a period of time. And, you know, it came down to I'd worked 12 hours that day. Nick and I had just had a meeting. My wife is 7 months pregnant, and he called me with the same story. And I told him, I said, I've laid the steps out for you, and I've laid them out for you several times. This is the last phone call we're going to have until you take one of those steps, because at this point, support is enabling you. And I'm not going to sit here and talk you to death. And when I say talk you to death, I mean sit here and listen to your story while you slowly kill yourself. I'm not going to do that anymore. I laid the steps out for you. If you want this camaraderie, it's here. But you have to take that next step. And I literally got off the phone and held to that. And 2 months later, he was in school, and he was sober, and
awesome.
You know, had back and basically said that, you know, he turned his life around, and there is no currency you can match that with. It's stuff like that. It's like I'll never give up on this page or this group or this company because of stuff like that. You know, it always reminds you why you're here. It always does.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, we're down to about 5 minutes left. Should we hit these guys with some rapid fire?
I think we should. We should. Kick it off there, brother.
All right. My rapid fire question. I got 3 of the 4 horsemen here from the Veteran Trash Talk team. If we put all 4 of you into a cage for a bunkhouse stampede, who is the last man standing, and what move will you use to win? Buddy.
I win, and I tell both of them that if you had a Purple Heart, you're just bad at your job, and then their heads explode, and I win.
Okay, so as I brushed Buddy's hair back and say, "Shh, just go to sleep," I let Dave and Nick kind of pity pat for a little bit. Once Nick realizes he's in a cage with me and on a mat with me again, he immediately leaves the ring and retires undefeated because he'll never fight me again. And then I make sure I work a day. For Christ's sake, he's European. I win.
So we all know that I am 1-0 against Joe. I separated his shoulder. He's got no shot at me. All right. So everybody knows his right shoulder is weak. So they go after his right shoulder right away. But I'm going to tell you who's going to win. It's going to be Dave. You want to know why Dave's going to win? Dave's not going to do anything. He's going to stand in the corner with his little soccer legs, and he's going to look pretty. And then when everybody else is killing each other, he's just going to walk out of the room, and he's going to win that way. He's going to use his brains. Like
He does speak 3 languages. I'll give him that.
All right, Ron, what's your rapid fire question, brother?
All right. So, well, I have to oh, where did he go? Oh, there he is. So I see you said you came on, you said you got kicked in the mouth, and that's
her.
what that is.
That's
My question was, because the shit on your lip has some shit on its lip. Is that in fact herpes?
Buddy has a funny way of saying number 4 on Tinder, but I guess that's what we're calling a kick in the mouth nowadays.
Let me tell you that the Tinder game is real hard when your profile pic looks like freaking that thing from what's that Schwarzenegger movie where he went to Mars?
It looks like something from
Arachnophobia.
Whatever it was like. Yeah, well, that kind of what
Twins?
it looks like. 100% a jiu-jitsu accidental
Look at
kick
that
to
thing.
land like a stuck.
Like, is that growing hair? But hey, so I got a rapid fire question for Ron.
Does that thing got its own post stamp on it?
Hey, so old Keith Bach says that he used to slap you around a lot. Is that true?
Oh, Keith Bach. Yeah, you know what? I would not go up against Keith Bach today, but back in the I wouldn't even call it back then.
I heard not back in the day either. I heard he used to slap you around.
Back in
Hey man, he's good at what he does, man. He's slapped around probably a few thousand by this time.
Well, hey, gentlemen,
Now,
unfortunately, we're out of time here. I wish we had more time with you guys. You guys are doing phenomenal work with Veteran Trash Talk. All of you gentlemen, it's an honor to have you on the show. And we look forward to continue to collaborate. And hopefully we can get your Throat Punch Monday girls on the show here to kind of showcase.
Absolutely.
Ron, you got the last word, brother.
yeah, no, I think it's fantastic, y'all. In seeing, learning where you came from, where you're at, where y'all are at. I like to just hear, like, in 30, 45 seconds, what's next for Veterans Trash Talk, and where can people find you?
We're veterantrashtalk.com, and then we're on Facebook, Spotify. Perry always yells at us because I don't know how to say all the podcast platforms. I don't even know that they'd existed for 6 months, and I figured out we had a podcast. But yeah, you can go on all the podcast platforms and check us out. We have great guests. If you want to be a guest on our show, just hit us up on our page. You got a business, we'll share it. All that good
all
stuff.
All of our show content's on our YouTube channel also.
Right.
So,
and the next step for Veteran Trash Talk is we're trying to become more interactive with, if you need something, we're going to have it on our website where you click what you need, and all of a sudden, bam, there's going to be 40 people up there that can help you. So that's the next step, Ron. Thanks for having us on. It was an absolute pleasure.
All right, gents. Yeah, Nick, I'll see you next week, brother. All right.
Hey, congratulations on your thing, too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you guys soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the Veteran Trash Talk team. Ron, I'll see you soon, brother. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon, brother.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week. Boom!
The Ron and John Show is brought to you by Veterans Lending Group, where we can assist you with all your home buying and refinance needs. Since we're licensed in all 50 states, we can ETS, PCS, or retire wherever you go. Check out our education classes at VAHomeloanBootcamp.com for our free classes, and you can also visit our website at VeteransLendingGroup.com. Make sure to follow The Ron and John Show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hey, folks, we hope you enjoyed our guest this week.
Thanks for tuning into The Ron and John Show, and we'll see you next week.